Hi all. The last video I did was the review on the Chinese diesel eater 2 years in, and I thought it was a half decent review, although you must forgive me that I had two cameras running and I got a bit out of sync with them, and I'm sure any of you have seen that first review, or if you haven't, go back and have a look, but you'll see I was using the temperature one camera for this temperature here in the room and one onto my controller, and I got a bit mixed up with them, so I should have done picture in picture. That's where I went wrong. Anyway, this part, which is the second part of the review, is if any of you've got a Chinese diesel eater, whether it be a cassette one or an open one, you'll know that they're quite noisy. You'd never fit one in a hospital. You know, they're quite the raw when you've got them on high, and you'll see a lot of YouTubers that have got them on, and in the background you can hear the thing roaring away. You've got your oil pump which ticks. That doesn't bother me, it's not that so much, it's the actual roar of the inlet, not the outlet. The outlet isn't bad, it's quite a nice draft of air and that isn't bad, it's the inlet, it roars. Anyway, I'll probably try and explain a bit more why I think it roars near the end of this video, but if you want to watch it, please do. I don't know how many minutes it'll go on for. It could be quite a lengthy one, but I'm hoping it's going to be informative and extremely helpful to any of you that have either got a diesel eater or are going to get one and are concerned about the noise that they make. It's air and it's a roar, and it is quite annoying. Now, I did try and put a silencer on from a car, one of them comb filters. It didn't make a bit of difference. So we're going to try something else, and you'll see as I go through it what we're going to do. Okay, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Right, let's fire it up and see how noisy it is once it comes on to full bore. I've got it at 5.8 Hz, which is my maximum setting that I have it at. Yep. Idiot. Try switching it on. Banana. Yeah, I'm convinced the inlet up at the top there is a lot noisier than the outlet. Could be wrong, but we'll find out. I think that's flat out now, I think. We'll give it a couple of minutes though, it's only just come on. So it's averaging 70 decibels. It's going to be a fairly long experiment is this, because I'll show you what I've bought and what I intend to do with it. I tried to make that inlet quieter. I put one of those large car cone filters, air filters on. Didn't do a bit of good, didn't do anything. So we've got a different version and I'll show you it shortly. Yeah, but I can hear that noise up there really loud. And down here the airflow is hardly anything, it's really quiet. And when I've got that camera, there's a clip up there that's been tied up, so when I do the next part of the experiment, when I've fitted this silencer, we'll do the same experiment again and let's see if it's any quieter. It's just that all YouTubers I've watched that have got these Chinese diesel heaters, you can hear them in the background blowing away, quite noisy. And I know once this is up to temperature, it goes a lot quieter. In fact, let's have a look. Yeah, it's 70. So I'll crank it down to the lowest and you see how quiet it gets. That's at 1.8. I think it's picking up a lot of sound from outside with this wind. It is blowing a gale outside. One, two. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say 53 decibels on low. I'm writing it down because I'll forget. If I don't write it down, I'll forget it. Okay, so that's the first part of the experiment. We'll come back in a minute. I'm going to leave heating on. In fact, I'll turn it up a little bit because it's only 9 degrees in here. It's a bit cold. Right, let's show you what I've got. Is it a car silencer? No, it's not. It's a carbon filtered silencer. And it really does seem to silence. It's how big is that? Tape measure. The only problem I've got is my pipework's 3 inches and the inlet and outlet of that's 4 inches. Obviously one end will be just open to air, but the ceiling, this end or other end, will be 4 inch. So I need to get from 4 inch now to 3 inch. Which is about the size of that plastic cup. If I want to do a cheapskate on it, I could use this stuff, couldn't I, duct tape, and tape that onto there and cut that out and make it fit the piece of 3 inch onto it, and then bend that around into the inlet. Showing you there. I was saying about the plastic thing, the top of there, and duct taping it on. But that would be no good anyway. So I need 4-inch. I need a short piece of that 4-inch that I can bend at a right angle, and that can go up at the ceiling with the bend on it into that inlet, and it's sucking through that. Well, what is that and where did I get it from? And is it going to be any good? It might not be, but we'll find out once I can find some ducting. Actually, somewhere like Plum Centre might have it, might they, for 4-inch toilet fans. That is a hydrophonic carbon garden silencer, 4-inch. There's millions of them on eBay. I searched and searched for air silencer, fan silencer, all sorts, and then eventually fell on these, and there were loads of them. And it's hydroponics. Now, it's people that have got greenhouses and they do hydroponics. And I've got a suspicion that a lot of people that are growing ganj use them, because apparently it makes it quiet, the fan, and it absolutely kills smell as well. I am not using it for that, no. But I think it's going to work. I mean, I'm in here talking to you now, and I'm sure in background, well, camera's now over near my bench, miles away, 2.5 metres from the inlet. Let me turn the heater back up again. Now I'm sure you can hear that. If you're actually doing a YouTube video or whatever, you're talking over that noise. And if I can drop that noise down to, let's turn it right down, and which I reckon will be about what it'll be with that on, if it works. That down to 1.8. If I can drop it to just to that sound, that'll be a load better. Lots better. So that's what we're going to do. Obviously you'll see it all in one video, but it's going to probably take me a day or two, because I've no 4-inch flexi, and I'm going to have to get some from somewhere to go over there, and some big Jubilee clips as well. I don't know how I'm going to fix this yet. Probably put some strap around it and screw it to the wall, because there's no fixing lugs on it, it's just a round container. But yeah, it's like a foam. I'm sure you won't be able to see in there. You can see that. So you can see how they work. Years ago, it's a bit of a story, but it'll back this up. A company approached Nestle, where I used to do a load of contract work, and their boiler house outside used to be earmuffs in a cabinet, and you wasn't allowed to go in the boiler house. There were these, I'm talking 3.5 ton Hamworthy boilers, 2 of them running flat out all day long, generating steam for the factory, and they were that noisy with the inlet fans on the blowers that you had to wear ear defenders. And this company come in and said, we can put you some of these silencers on, we can guarantee you won't need ear defenders anymore. And they said, well, you know, blah blah blah. And I'm not sure of the story, but I have a funny feeling they must have said fit one, and if they're good we'll pay you for it and you can fit the other. Anyway, they fit them. When I went in, the last time I went in, well, the first time I went in after they'd had them done, they were both done. No ear defenders anymore. You could go in, you could talk, you could be stood outside at boiler and you could talk. They were that quiet, what inlet, and it's the inlet of air. Outlet ain't as bad, it's inlet of air that makes the noise. I don't know why, and I've no idea why the Chinese diesel heater is noisier on the inlet than the outlet, but I can assure you that the outlet isn't noisy at all. We'll move camera over and you can listen to the outlet. So that, bring it in closer. The microphone, the little fluffy cat one, is on the camera. I'll speed it up. You can hear the diesel pump. That don't annoy me though. Right, that's up at 3.5. No, let's crank it right up, and then I'll lift the camera up so you can hear the difference between this air outlet here. Oh, that's lovely and warm. But that isn't that bad. What is you can't, because I can't blank that off, so you can only just hear this. Looking up to 4. Yeah, so I'm hoping it's going to be successful, and if it is, then you're going to see the results of what we've achieved. It looks like an expensive piece of kit, doesn't it? And what would you pay to have a quiet Chinese diesel heater? It was £34.50 delivered, and it said, I ordered this 2 days ago, and it said delivery the 27th of December, which is after Christmas. I thought, oh well, it doesn't matter, I'll do it then. 2 days later, knock on the door and it were here. DPD come straight away. So I'm quietly positive that we're going to be successful doing this, and if we are, you'll see results, and I'll publish it and put it on as an amendment to my 2-year review. I always did think it was rather loud, and if I'm in workshop here and I had it on full, it is quite loud. However, if I go into garage where there's only an outlet and push the door to, it wasn't that loud. And working in the garage wasn't bad at all. It's when I'm in the workshop itself. Okay, you know what microphones are like, especially on cameras. If they hear a background noise, it tends to amplify it and pick it up. They're not directional as such. So even if you've got the microphone pointing at yourself, it's not that good unless you've got a Rode, particular directional one. Okay guys, I've rattled on enough, and this will all go into a big video later. Just to add on, forgot, I got my tape measure to measure it. We know that the inlet and outlet is 4 inches. The length of this unit itself, 19.5, 500mm is that there. Diameter is 7 inch, so it's just under 80mm diameter. So if you've got room to fit one of them somewhere and it works, then you know what to do to make your diesel heater quieter. Also, a little bit to add on, and look, I haven't topped that up, I haven't touched it. There's still my can of diesel down there, or kerosene down there. I haven't touched that since I last did that review. Was it last week? And I bet you it hasn't used. I bet it hasn't used that much since then. It's still what? It's still from there. It's still over half full. So they are definitely frugal. Right, so for those of you who haven't got one and are thinking of getting one, then that's the noise that's making, and that is an absolute full chat, is that? It's on full bore. That ain't that noisy at all. It's not bad. You know, walk away from it. It's not intrusive at all in that. That don't bother me. It was just that noise of the intake. Okay, in fact I'll turn speed down. That's down to 1.8 Hz, which is what I've got it on most of the time once my garage is warmed up. And what you can hear is that, but that doesn't bother me, as I say, like a water dripping, but that doesn't bother me. Apparently the suitcase versions that you can buy, they're all combined in like a suitcase unit. I think they're quite a bit noisier because that pump is fastened to the body inside, and they do make a lot of noise. Okay guys, come back shortly. Right, let's see what it sounds like with it off. That's not fair now, because the distance from there to there, I need that to be further over a metre. That's nowhere near, so I need to bring that sound meter a metre away from that. Otherwise it's not a fair comparison. On low it was 53. There's noise in here to start with. But let's try it. Big difference. Let me close this door. Not ticking the pump. It's saying that same sound as a quiet library. I'm going to agree at 45. You've got to remember, this is just an app on a smartphone, on a Samsung Galaxy smartphone. But I mean, listen to me talking, it shoots it up. Well, shut up. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's made a lot of difference. A lot of difference. I mean, I thought I'm stood over near my Vice now, and I could just have I could put my radio on and I'd hear it. I'll just flick it on. Before I couldn't have radio on without turning volume right up. I won't leave it on because of copyright. Perfect. Take it back up. You have to excuse me, that first test I did at high level, I had that door open. You've got to remember this thing up here is only pressed against wall, it wants sealing round. But I'd say that is definitely working a lot better. So yesterday I took a lower 70 decibels and it was peaking up to 74, 75, but it kept dropping, and I sort of picked a lowish average, if you like, an average but low. And again, according to that sound meter, it's saying conversation. Just like two people talking. In fact, if I talk, yeah, you can see needle jump as I'm talking. I'm going to call it 64. So on high, we've taken it down 6 decibels. I think not only that, we've altered the tone, frequency of the sound. It's now a lower frequency. It hasn't got that high whistler pitch to it. So let's drop this down. That's directly in the airflow, which it shouldn't be really. You never stick them over the end of an exhaust pipe on a car. They always, if you go to a rally or out, the scrutineer puts the sound meter on, he always has it to the side, not straight into the silencer. And I'm sure it's 2 foot or a meter, but I'm going to go for what, that's about 3 foot there. And it says conversation or quiet office. I'm going to say 61. On low. You might wonder why I'm doing this. I'm doing this on this one because I want to compare inlet to outlet sound, because I know for a fact the inlet was so loud and the outlet was what deemed to be a lot quieter. Could we agree on 45? Let's see if I can hold this a bit stiller, because I'm wobbling about like an old goat here. .45 Quiet Library. You saw it here first, guys. We've got a quiet library with a diesel heater on. Ah. I mean, I don't know if this thing needs calibrating or not. There's no buttons anywhere to tell me that I can press to calibrate it. I wonder if there's a better version. This is a couple of years old. I'm going to just have a look on here and see if there's a newer version. And we'll do another comparison. But we've got no better to do, have we? Than muck about in our man caves. Right, so we're on low. We'll do test again. With 45, didn't we? Yeah, I'm going to agree that it is 45. That hasn't changed. Let's turn it up. Where are we going? 5.8. About a metre away. Let's agree on 63, yeah? Let's be kind. Pause. And we had 61. That was with meter up there, which is where I took the original test for further across, so let's keep the original, so we're not far off. Again, saying I haven't got a clue how accurate this is, but does it matter? We're only taking comparisons. And what I can say is it loads quieter. You can still hear it. It's an air heater, isn't it? You know, you're always going to hear it. To see around that top. Let's see if we can go with some tape. Knowing me, I will make a mess. These need cutting off really, or cutting and bending up. Okay, so we've made our Chinese diesel heater super quiet. Well, I'm saying super quiet. The figures I wrote down, I mean these top figures are what I wrote down yesterday. So it was 70 decibels on high. And then today it was 53. So we've gone from 70 to 53, 7 decibels. That's a lot, innit? Because a decibel, is it a cube, a square root or something? At each decibel you climb, you either double or treble your sound, I think. Correct me lads. you lads might know, some of you. I don't, I'm just guessing, but I'm sure a decibel, if you go from 1 decibel to 2 decibels, 2 decibels is not double 1 decibel, it's more. I'm sure it is. Sure it is. And at the outlet, so let's say now it's 53 on low and the outlet is 45, so the inlet is still slightly louder. Sorry, on low it's 45, so it was 53 yesterday on low, now it's 45, and yesterday on high it was 70 and now it's 64, so we've saved 6 decibels, haven't we, there, and 45, 50 out there, we've saved 8 there. And then at the outlet, I've got this up here, at the outlet on high is 61 to 64, not a great difference, and on low 45, this is up at the top, and now it's 45 on the outlet. So the inlet and the outlet are the same on low, it's just it climbs a bit more on high, but not a lot. I always knew it roared, did the high, the inlet, it roared, where the outlet never did roar. All it did was, you could just hear air going through, you know, like a vacuum cleaner, but on low, a fan as such. So again, I can't tell you why the inlet's louder than the outlet. It's probably something to do with the vortice and how the air goes through the heat exchanger, because I think it has to go around it, the fire's inside it, and I think the heat has to blow around that and then out of the outlet. It's probably that inrush, that vortice, that whatever you want to call it, venturi, like a carburettor, isn't it? That's why if you rev a carburettor with the air filter off, it roars. Do you remember twin 40 Webers on a Lotus? How they used to lovely roar, they sounded awesome. Little story, just a quickie. A friend of mine had a Lotus Cortina, well, 2 friends had them, but this particular one, it was a Mark 1 Lotus Cortina. We're coming up through Sherburn in Helmet, past Motorbikers Coffee Bar, and a copper chased him and stopped him. And they were going to do him for a loud exhaust. They said, "My exhaust isn't loud, it's my carburettors, it's my inlet." And the copper said, "No, it's your exhaust." And so they walked around the car and then he lifted the bonnet up, revved the engine up with Webers, but he didn't have his filters on, but the copper didn't know any better. Then copper went, "All right, okay," let him go. That was a long time ago, longer than I actually wish to think. Oh, guys, thank you if you've watched this through. Best of luck to you. But I'm hoping anybody with diesel heater who's got or getting or thinking of getting a diesel heater, they're fantastic. I just need a bit of tweaking. Now that thing there's twice the size, that silencer's twice the size of the actual diesel heater. But does it matter? It's up at the ceiling, it's out of the way, it's not doing any harm to anything. But it's making my life a little bit better. And I now can put my radio on while I'm working. I like my radio on. And I can put that on when I'm working. Before, when I had it on high, or anything, you know, much below high, excuse me, I couldn't. I just couldn't stand it, because I went and turned radio up that loud. I didn't realise, but one day, I had this on full bore, because I'd just come in and it was cold. And I put radio on, turned it up to a picture where I could actually hear the radio properly. And I went back in the house to make a coffee. And when I come out of the back door, which is a good 15 metres away from here, I could hear radio blaring out, and I realised then that I've got a problem. And it won't be how you hear it, for once. Thanks guys, give us a thumbs up, please don't forget, because it really helps the channel. It's not growing very much, and I'm not that bothered about that, but you know, a thumbs up, just, you don't have to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope it helps anybody with this same situation.